clothes or whatever, disinfectant and everything. And the C-section room, that's when I really got scared. First of all, they have your father sign off that you can actually have a C-section, which is a really interesting experience, because some girls actually don't get a chance. So this is something that we're actually going to reach out for as well, is to have the liberties for quality health care and for health decisions to be made for your own body, because things do go through the mail person to get permission for a lot of these things. So anyway, let's skip forward. So I go to the delivery room, and there are like all these sharp tools everywhere, literally, not a lie, sharp tools all over. And I'm like, what did I just get myself into? It was fine though. The doctor came in, you know, I had already had my anesthesia, which really wasn't that bad. I mean, they make it seem so scary because the needle is like this long, goes into your back. But I mean, yeah, it pinches your back, but it's not totally the worst thing ever. So then all of that was done, everything set up, got a sheet there so I can't actually see them. I can feel tugging at my stomach, but I can't really see anything. I see my blood being pumped into this machine, but nothing major. Then all of a sudden, like the guy who's like checking the IV beside me, I guess he's a nurse, he's like, you know, talking to me so that I'm distracted. And actually, once we get started, it helped a lot that he was distracting me. But then all of a sudden, they took my stomach out, right? Because that's what happens with a C-section. They actually take all your organs out. Anyway, I started vomiting, and then they were like, okay, it's okay. Like, my doctor was just like, you need to chill, like, stop, relax. So I got that together. Then afterwards, my IV had actually gotten low, and I was getting the shakes. Like, this was once the baby was already out. I was like literally shaking. I couldn't stop. I felt like so cold. So the doctor was shouting at the nurse, because he's like, look, you didn't refill her IV. Like, she needs her IV, that's why. So they gave me the IV, but I was still shaking. They took me to a recovery room. I was sharing a room with like 4 other women who had just had babies. One was still pregnant, and that's how that went. My family came after that to visit the baby, and I pretty much slept for the rest of that day. Question number 3, that was a long answer for question number 2. Question number 3, did it hurt? The C-section itself did not hurt, but after that C-section, once the meds wore off, oh my goodness, it was killing me. I actually screamed when I had to use the bathroom, and that's when that hole in the toilet really actually was good for me, because then I could just crouch down. Sitting on the toilet like hurt that scar so bad. But when I was able to go on the hole, I was able to actually go on the hole. Like, it was a lot easier for me without having to worry about the toilet seat. It actually was much easier for me. But I screamed, and the nurse there, the female nurse there, she really got on my nerves. Like, me and my mother-in-law was about to like curse her out because she kept forcing me to walk. And I'm like, look, I'm going to walk when I feel better, but you're not just going to force me to walk. And I'm like, and you see that I'm in pain, I can hardly go. She just kept saying, walk. You got to walk. If you want to get out of here, you got to walk. Mind you, all that room had C-sections. Everybody in that room had C-sections, which is another thing that we're going to talk about later on, how many C-sections are actually being given unnecessarily. Oops, that's the secret. Shh. So anyway, this was during election time. I remember that this was election time for the new president that they have now, Musa Bihi. But Musa Bihi Abdi, and this was when he was being elected for president, and I could hear the marches of the Wadani party in the background, but I didn't care about no Wadani party at the time, no offense. I'm all for Somali politics when they're peaceful, wonderful, peaceful Somali politics, but all I knew is that this woman was pushing me to walk, and I was getting pissed off. I actually got up and walked to my doctor just to make a point. I said, look, I can walk. She needs to let me go at my own pace. And that's what happened. And before this gets too long, I'm gonna close this out by saying, despite being at a very small, very new and less equipped hospital, I had a wonderful experience. I have so much respect and love for my Dr. Abdul Qadir. He's literally probably one of the best, even though he's very straightforward. He's not very an emotionally in tune person, but he is definitely a wonderful doctor. He makes sure that everything is taken care of with you and with the baby. And even though it's Borama, and even though it wasn't the easiest experience ever, it's one that I really cherish, and it's one that I learned so much from. And as always, you know that I'm doing these stories so that you can know a little bit more about me. I'm actually writing a book about these experiences, so you will be able to get more in-depth information about all of this. But right now, I'm just doing this so that you can get an idea about me and why I've started these projects. So make sure, I thank you so much. If you're still watching this video, if I did not bore you too much, thank you so much for staying with me. Make sure you look at my second video, part 2, which is going to be the first American woman to give birth at an Aden hospital. And this is from the doctor's own mouth. So this is not me making up these statistics. They told me as well. I was the first American woman that either one of them have ever had. So yeah, that's going to be coming up in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you have any questions, as always, make sure you comment, because I am here to answer your questions. I love talking about these stories, and I'm all for it. So I'm going to stop this here because I'm rambling, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.